defending is no doubt an issue. So your boys got you covered. We're about to drop a comprehensive guide of one of the most balanced but defensive formations, the 4-2-3-1, UNEAFC. Moving into the tactics. Now, what you're wanting to do with this formation is essentially keep it so that in the defense, you're keeping a tight structure and not giving up too many gaps or holes or spaces for the opponent to exploit, because that's the problem with defending. If there's any gaps or spaces, it's so easy to burst into them with the sprint button or with R1 dribbling. So we need to prevent that. And so for depth, I'm going to keep it to 50, but with width, we're going to keep it to 45 to keep a more compact defensive line. Defensive style is unbalanced. I don't want any players pushing into any positions that essentially I don't want them to be in. Now, in terms of defense as well, the instructions are going to be one of the most important aspects of this formation, but I'll get into those in a short time. But when it comes to offense, we want to exploit gaps and spaces of our opponents, and we want our attackers, despite it being a defensive formation, pushing into those holes. So I'm going to have it unbalanced when it comes to build-up play, but when it comes to chance creation, we're going to have this on forward runs. It's going to allow our attackers, including the cam, including the striker and the wingers, as well as your wingbacks, pushing forward and hitting those holes. It's so that you can exploit the gaps and spaces of your opponent when you are going forward, because it can be hard to jockey this year and turn and react when you exploit that space. So we need to take advantage of that. In terms of width for the attack, it's going to be standard, it's going to be on 50, and players in the bots are going to be on 6. Corners and free kicks are standard, they're on 3. Moving into the instructions, however, this is important because what we want to do, as I said, is have movement so that they are pushing into those holes and running through in behind. Now, with your striker, they're going to be on getting behind. This is going to allow them to make runs along the defensive line, and you're able to put them through when they are making those runs. When it comes to the defense, though, for these 3 midfielders, they are key, simply because keeping the structure and keeping a tight line is super important this year. If you leave any gaps or spaces, they are very easy to exploit. And as I mentioned in my short but sweet defending tutorial that I uploaded yesterday, it is so important to keep your defensive structure, defensive line, and player positioning is key whilst keeping your players' momentum. So the way we do that is by switching between our defenders and keeping a tight line. With our 2 CDMs, they're both on stay back while attacking and cover center. This allows them to stay central, and it will keep them in a position that are easy to switch to when your opponent is pushing through the midfield. When it comes to the cam, they're going to be on comeback on defense. This will have them drop in between the 2 CDMs so you can keep a tight 3-man structure when it comes to the midfield. It'll be hard for your opponent to exploit as long as you continue to switch between the players on the pitch and keep the defensive structure, the defensive line, and not give up too much space for your opponent to exploit. In terms of the wingbacks, though, I'm going to have them unbalanced, and that's because it's important for them to be pushing forward and making overlapping runs into those holes, like I said, to exploit the spaces and gaps, compared to if we were to have them on stay back while attacking, they would be less useful in the attack. Now, because they're unbalanced, they will still stay relatively back so that you can get back in defense and defend a counter attack if necessary. When it comes to the wingers, they are unbalanced and they are on the standard instructions. That is so we can have them come back slightly to defend if need. We can drag them back manually, and then they are ready to counter attack once we win the ball back. So there you have it. It's a quick, comprehensive guide of the 4-2-3-1. It's a very defensive and balanced formation this year, and with defending the way it is, we need a formation like so. So it's a very useful one for that. I am coaching one-on-one. If you need help with your custom tactics instructions, check it out. The link is down below. There's even a lobby where you can request personalized tutorials for myself. But I'm out. Sayonara, au revoir, adios, salam, ciao. Goodbye.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, then I'd really appreciate it if you hit the subscribe button. And lastly, if you do want any pre-gaming fuel or supplement, then head over to atpscience.com, which is the first link in the description, and use the code DylanEtsATP at checkout to get yourself a discount. Not only is it the cheapest way to get supplements, but it helps me out a ton, guys, so thank you.